Oh, this is facts. And it's a correlation between it. Just think about it. Most men that got themselves together and focused, most women who got themselves together and focused, they not just gonna recklessly be out here having kids. That ain't how they live their life. That's not how they move. But those men and women who ain't got nothing going on, don't never have nothing to offer nobody, the biggest accomplishment that they can even achieve in life is having children. And that's the reason why they stay pregnant. That's the reason why they stay getting girls pregnant. Like, it's always the bum dudes who don't have nothing that stay having a bunch of kids. It's always the women who shouldn't have no children because they ain't got nothing to offer them who stay pregnant. It's a correlation between the two. The ones who got it going on ain't moving reckless like that. And that's the reason why they've accomplished the things that they have in their life, because they're strategic in how they live their life. But those other ones, they just live any kind of way. And that's the reason why they procreate so recklessly.
Well, I feel what she's saying to a certain extent. She's got some points there, but there are some exceptions. And when I say there are some exceptions, there are a lot of exceptions. And I'm not just talking about a Nicki Minaj and her husband or several other celebrities, the Britney Spears and all these, and dudes vice versa. You do have a lot of people who got their stuff together who end up having kids with someone, and it just happens a lot of times. You have people who have their things together and they end up simping. You can say on the men's side. On the women's side, they just fall for that game, that mouthpiece. Dude shoots up the club. Next thing you know, to keep him a lot of times, she'll go ahead and go through. And a lot of times, and on my journey, right? The amount of women who don't use birth control is astounding. And at the same time, and we can play devil's advocate, or as far as that goes, birth control, it depends on what type, but obviously when it comes to pills and things like that, it can wreak havoc on a woman's body and do certain things, but I guess you say, hey, you got to give and take and things like that. But was it over 32, 40 something forms of birth control or some shit like that? But some women know what they're doing. Every time you lay down with someone, and this goes for dudes too, it's not just the women, but it's ultimately up to the women how this country's set up. It's her body, her choice. But dudes, you got a responsibility as well when you shooting the club up aimlessly, because we do like that feeling. We don't like to use the prophylactics and things like that. But that's just human nature a lot of times. Now we can have our stuff together. We can have slip ups. Sometimes things are ordained, right? And we have these slip ups, or things happen, or maybe they are planned. And you'll come across a woman who may get pregnant and just say, no, I'm going to keep it, because all along, anytime a woman, and this is my belief, men as well, you got to have that in the back of your mind. But a woman who invites you into her womb, right? She has to know that there's a chance that she's going to get pregnant, right? And it's going to happen. She can have, good paying job, house, car, everything, adulting, everything set up, everything in place. Same thing for bro. He can have the same thing going up. But a lot of times people have ulterior motives and they know what they're getting themselves into. You know what I'm saying? That 30 seconds of passion can lead to these things. And guys, once you cross that threshold, once that egg is fertilized, bro, you don't have a say so in it. You know what I'm saying? So it's really, you're in control to a certain point. As far as you using your prophylactics or using the form of birth control, vasectomy, whatever have you. But on the flip side of it, I agree with what she says. Basically, people who look at it like it's the biggest accomplishment. And the U.S. government, I'm speaking for the United States, I know other countries, whatever. If things were different and there was no government support in place, there was no zaddy in place to take care of some of these, and a lot of the bros know it because they know they can just walk away from some things, especially a dude who ain't got his ish together. And women know when they sleeping with a dude, they're acting like, I didn't know he didn't have a job. I didn't know it. We see it all the time on Kevin Samuels videos. I didn't know his last name. I didn't know he liked dudes. I didn't know that he was on parole. You know, I didn't know he lived with his mama. But he's, you know, you giving him every single part of your body, and you're having kids by him a lot of times. Not a lot of times. You're having kids by him, but you know you'll have some sort of support. But it is an accomplishment, if you will, because the goal at the end of the day is not marriage, because marriage isn't guaranteed. A baby is guaranteed, and a baby shower is guaranteed. So at least you can show that off. And it's so common, as long as the government has your back and will provide A, B, and C, once again, you know that he will willingly provide this seed. You don't have a problem with him wearing, you know, you don't have a problem with him wearing or him using a condom, and you know that you're not on birth control. So it's a match made in heaven, because it's going to go down. It's going to go down. Most dudes, most dudes like this are just like, okay, I'm not about to pull this condom out. She about to let me, you know, I'm about to, man, let's do it. And that's why this is constantly happening, you know, because it's up to a woman a lot of times. If a dude's not going to take that initiative and just, you know, put on the raincoat, as they used to say, throw the hat on, and the woman's not going to check to see if he has, then this is bound to happen. And at the end of the day, it's just a cycle that goes on and on. If you're already in a position where your life may not be progressing, just adding on more babies to it is just putting you in that same position. And hopefully you will try to live vicariously through your kids. Hopefully they'll graduate or they'll make it to high school, but they're watching you at the same time do this. So there's really, other than television, there's really nothing to really say to show this child that, hey, here's the path, and this begets more and more and more dysfunction, if you will. And the government is there to be the net to catch it all. Because the accountability of your actions, when you really have to get out there and take care of these kids on your own, if a lot of this stuff was cut, a lot of these subsidies and a lot of these benefits and welfare, this welfare state and so on and so forth, and it was like it is in these third world countries, bruh, there would be no choice but for prostitution to become legal and drugs at this point. And I hate to say that, but it's just too much. It's this freedom that we have, and the freedom of choice and the way it's designed is just propagating this bullshit in the community. And it's like it's devolving instead of evolving at the end of the day. So I can see it both ways. It's not just, but I could see why what she's saying, how this is probably the biggest accomplishment that'll happen. Because not every woman can have kids, not every man can have kids either. But it just seems like a lot of times this is how it happens. So anyway, man, let me know you guys' thoughts on it. What you guys feel about what she said. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you guys like, share, comment, subscribe. Hit me up on Calendly and Linktree. If you haven't, purchase all my products and merch on there as well. Pick yourself up a t-shirt. And with that being said, this is wisdom. Peace be upon you all, and the mercy and blessings of the Almighty. And I will catch you guys on the next one. I'm out of here. Peace.
It's God's beat, maybe.
And I don't know. I will put a light in the sky for the G's that done turn memory from go. Blessings we send to the ghetto youth.